right, Random Wizard versus Reckless.
Go, Tom! Two very strong teams, I'd say, here. Mew, always very scary. Very much depends on how it's built. Reckless leading with the Superior, another thing that's very scary. Just kind of trying to push the sweep off the start. And when it's staring that, yep, got to swap into the Hydreigon. He takes the Leaf Storm well, but there's the boost, and that's the problem. Very common for this thing to have HP Ice. It's very fast. Not sure what the answer is here. Oh, and a miss from the Fire
Unfortunate
Blast.
miss. There's HP
But he's
Ice.
going to get another shot. Yeah, the single boost. Now it hits 16%, but the burn. And a miss from the Leaf Storm.
Wow.
The
Hit
RNG
him with a
gods have
safe
said we
move.
will have no superior sweeps. Another Fire Blast lands.
So he's definitely scarfed their spec because he would have went for like a more safe option if he wasn't.
Oh, definitely. Especially without speeding. Yeah, we can
Oh,
see
yeah.
the
So
max
we got specs.
speeds there. In comes Charizard, who's also going to be slower here, but doesn't really mind taking a Fire Blast. This is a good opportunity
Mega hit
for
a nice
any
dragon
rocks.
dance.
Yeah, go ahead and secure the dance. Just keep trying to do those boost and sweeps here. I would say. The Superior being able to boost while threatening is such a unique quality that it has. And opts for the Glissaur. Captain Ginyu takes the Flare Blitz fairly well with the Toxic Orb. Going ahead and getting the poison down. Won't heal this first turn. Gotta imagine it's a Protect here just to keep things honest. But no, just gonna swap out immediately. Just pivoting around. Landorus coming in, double swap from both players. Well, each player making a swap. But this is going to slow the game down. We got a high chance of hazards from both of these Pokemon, but no, opt in straight for the Earthquake for the Landorus. Toxic Spikes coming out of the Kid Booze there. Baneful Bunker going to come out. Earthquake will not make contact, so safe from the Toxic or poisoning there. But with Black Sludge on a swap, the Regenerator will take care of the rest. If you're expecting more Earthquakes, he could try and Levitate it. He does have good options for that.
Yeah, back to the Gliscor to get the Gliscor free turn to get a heal off. Heal tick off would be nice. Oh, here
Yeah,
we
again,
go.
go for the Tapu Bulu, setting up grassy terrain. Stealth Rocks do come out.
Yeah, be careful for that super sonic sky strike, whatever that move's called. the Z flying move.
Yeah, big thing about these genies is that they do not have great flying move pools, so the Z moves do give them a good fix into that. We're just going to see more pivoting. Nature's Madness coming out, going to cut the Zapdos in half.
So a little fun tidbit about Toxic Spikes with the Tapu Fini. He will be poisoned before the Mystic Terrain goes up.
Yeah, the entry hazards go off before terrains. There's the Heat Wave, a critical hit only doing 38%.
Wow, took that insanely
just taking it
well
like a champ.
Wow.
He is the Ox King for a reason.
Yeah, it makes me curious if Ox King has an Assault Vest even there.
Trixie.
Gonna go ahead and get the Mew in. Takes the hit respectably as Mew tends to do. Given it's a non-stab Heat Wave. Tapu Fini gonna come in, and there we see the interaction. It resets the terrain, but the poison does go off first, and it eats the Ice Beam extremely well. Ice Beam leaning more towards a bit of a sweeper Mew there. Potentially. But notably not going for any of the setup moves that a sweeper Mew really likes to use, a Rock Polish, a Nasty Plot. You really want to get both of those out because your base 100 stats leave something to be desired in everything a little bit, even though you're strong in everything. But the pivots are just going to continue. Here we see the Z move. Genesis
Hey,
Supernova.
Oh,
Gonna go ahead
wow.
and take the terrain back and one-shots the Mega Charizard.
That was huge.
Ooh, I don't know if he knows.
And it's got the superpower.
Oh my
The Mew's got a
goodness.
mixed set. It's got the physical. It's got the special. It's got it all. The superpower with that attack drop, the attack drop won't matter
And
if it
notably,
swaps
no
back to its
sucker
special
punch
moveset.
on
He
Reckless
couldn't
is
use
really
it.
impressive.
He couldn't use it because of the psychic terrain. It would have stopped
Oh,
it.
the
Yeah.
sucker punch. Psychic
Yeah,
terrain
the
stop
psychic
it?
terrain removes it counters
No
negates
priorities.
priority moves.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder if that would have even let him press the button. I'm not sure how Showdown
Oh,
presents that.
Oh yeah, it'll let you
I
press the
think
button. It'll definitely let you press the button, and
Oh,
then
it'll
it'll
just like
say,
fail.
yeah, you will learn. You're gonna
Okay.
learn today. And there we see the ice beam that we saw before into the Landorus, unable to outspeed here. Zapdos coming in, just the options going through. I gotta say, it needed to be the Feeny first. You needed to go back into the Tapu Fini to take the terrain back. But who would have expected the physical fighting move, the superpower on the Mew?
You were just talking about the genies having it, and it wasn't
Well,
even
the
a
big
genie
thing I
that
was
had it.
talking about for the genies was their lack of flying coverage moves. A lot of times they have to opt into hidden power flying to have something. There's the psychic into the Feeny. So Reckless has to take note of that. And the attempt at the sweep at the start ends up looking like a reverse sweep for game one. God, but Feeny's so strong. But there we see the soft boil.
A
But the
lot of
special
debuff
attack drops.
stacking.
Happy Feeny's so good.
Lot of debuffs happening. I mean, he's still holding in there though. Another debuff.
Another special attack drop, but really it's just the poison's gonna matter here.
Yep. Wow. Game one.
Very interesting with the Toxic Spice, considering that there's really only 2 Mons on his side that are affected by them. But it did work.
Yeah, I mean, you're not building just for this battle, you're building for the whole tournament. So it could be some forethought there. Also, definitely a great play against the Feeny. So being able to guarantee that you're going to get your status on it. And while having immunities to the toxic and the poison is nice, the other part of that is not having a way to clear them out. That one of the downsides to Superior is losing your poison typing to be able to just free absorb by just swapping in the poison spikes. But that monograss typing has many advantages as well.
Leading with the Diancie this time.
Yeah, and into the Feeny. Random Wizard's going to take the terrain, but now he's going to be at risk of an Ice Beam here. We've seen on the specially defensive side, Ox King's got some good bulk. The Bulu rings Trulu. But in comes the Landers. Nature's Madness going to get a miss there at 95 accuracy.
That's unlucky.
Don't quote me on that accuracy either. Tapu Koko players don't
Recording
mess with that. But what's the plan for the Landorus here? I feel like it's just got to kind of set up rocks and continue to pivot around. U-turn could hit into the grass super effectively, but it's not really used as much for that offensive pressure. Yeah, gonna use the U-turn, just getting the Intimidate off. Take the terrain back. The Nature's Madness hits this time. The big downside to Tapu Fini is reliable healing. And Toxapec's able to absorb the Moonblast very well. Kid Boo just a little ball of jelly. The Toxic Spikes come out. Let's see if he tries to set up a second round of spikes here. Charizard, not necessarily the best matchup for here. It is threatened by some things, but it could have the Earthquake for coverage. Goes for the Dragon Dance, just trusting his presence, his raw aura, his opponents to run in fear. But Ginyu knows no fear. Sometimes, many times, he's turned to a frog for that, or killed by Vegeta after showing back up after many millennia.
I imagine he wants to get the Toxic on the Charizard to be able to try to then stall him out, maybe back with the water Pokemon. But
It could be that. It could be as simple as I know I can just click an Earthquake against it. And we'll
wow, yeah.
find out. And there's the Earthquake. Landorus, good swap in there with the immunity. But while these flying Pokemon that Reckless can bring in, it is removing his grounded Pokemon from the field, so they will be vulnerable to the Toxic Spikes again.
That poison interaction.
And going for a free swap, and he brought that Tapu Fini in just to set up the Misty Terrain so he could bring in the Superior clean. But here we see the Hirudegarn coming in to threaten it out with that Scarf.
And obviously, you want to expect to switch because now he knows about the Choice Scarf.
But Superior
Does.
should know that that Fire Blast doesn't one-shot. Might have been able to just press an ability there. Okay, yeah, that's a good swap, though.
It would have been too. I think it would have been like a little too risky.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're already down a game. You don't want to lose your offensive pressure. You're showing that you know how to operate around the spikes
This was a good trade.
in both ways of your flyers and using the terrain. He'll have another opportunity to reset terrain and set back up. And he is going to take the terrain advantage here. Just definitely not allowing Toxics to come out of Ginyu. Doesn't want to be poison stalled.
Back to the grassy terrain.
Yeah, but there goes the defog. Just going to remove the spikes now. So the terrain war kind of ends in the same result, even a longer term result in the sense that he doesn't have to worry about the timer at the moment, just allowing the Toxapex to come back in. Hirudegarn, you got to imagine he was expecting Reckless to go straight into the Superior. But probably with Dragon moves, yeah, we see the Dragon Pulse able to threaten the Charizard here. Hirudegarn just going off here, just key Pokemon. And here we see the terrain battle continue. But that Fini's just getting lower and lower from that earlier poison. And there's the Toxic Spikes. But Superior going to hit the field safely. Goes into the Bulu, takes the terrain back. And this is the thing that I keep trying to tell Reckless about the Superior. You cannot lead with that hidden power. You got to go for the Leaf Storm, even if it's resisted first, just to get that boost.
Ooh,
And the Mega Horn! Just click Mega Horn, comes back! Reckless's own weakness! The origin of don't click Mega Horn, and the Mega Horns continue to rain down. The terrain's been taken back, but this will be the last Misty terrain. That was also his defogger. Charizard comes back in. Will we see another Mega Horn? Will he allow him to Dragon Dance in his face? Find out this time, because we don't have a next time. We're ending this right here and now. He does get the Dragon Dance off. Kid Buu able to come out. You gotta imagine it's got the haze.
Oh, took it like a champ.
Yeah,
Does he
and
not
there's
have
the
Earthquake?
yeah, no, and going for the Scalds, just trying to push damage into the Charizard. Yeah, no Earthquake.
We know he has
I
Dragon
gotta
Dance, Dragon
imagine he's
Claw,
made the
Flare
mistake.
Blitz. We don't know the last move.
Yeah, I gotta imagine he's
Roost.
made the mistake and he's brought Roost on it to try and have some sustain instead of having coverage to actually be able to sweep. And here we see him trying to boost even further beyond. And the Scalds continue to rain down, just getting him closer and closer. But he continues to boost forward.
Oh,
The haze
no.
comes out. He was sandbagging the haze.
Tragic. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Roost.
There's the
And
Roost.
there's the Roost. It could have been coverage, but it's a Roost instead.
See, he's got Zapdos. There you go. Yeah.
There's the Zapdos, but there's the
Yeah,
second
but the
layer of
glide
Toxic
score for
Spikes.
the immunity.
He's surprisingly resilient to these spikes, though.
Not as much anymore because his grounded Pokemon, which are his sweepers, will be on timers. His walls are able to swap in besides the Feeny, but we saw the downside. The Feeny got drained down and was unable to protect the grounded sweepers. And the Mew gonna come back in here. We know it's threatening with opportunity. Oh,
Ooh.
a predict on a predict. Predicting the Z move immediately. Goes straight into his dark Pokemon. But possibly seeing into the future, Mew with its psychic powers.
It's pretty wild.
And now the Charizard with the layer of spikes gets toxic. He's got to try and boost up, but the problem is he's on the toxic timer now. That damage is going to continue to ramp, and he knows it, so he immediately swaps in. The haze giving him the free swap. Now that it's been shown, he's not sandbagging it any further.
Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the end.
And now we bring up another discussion. If you are 6 feet from any edge, congratulations. You are in a safe spot and do not need to be held by anyone unless you are a baby.
You can tell that's been bothering him for a while.
I mean, it's true 6 feet is a relatively safe distance from an edge.
You know, maybe 6 feet ain't so far now.
I don't know. 6 feet's pretty huge.
And now we see the Mega D re-enter, potentially trying to clean up here. The clear body, getting some value, and the Diamond Storm coming out after the Mega Evolution. This is definitely a spot where I think Random Wizard can force damage and just continue to push forward.
And the defense boost.
It's going to be up to the Superior to try and take this thing down, especially with the defense boost. But yeah, 22% health.
It only gets like 3
And there the
turns.
Toxic goes off. But one turn is all it needed.
Ooh.
But the Hydreigon, even the
Spooky.
Dark Pulse right now would knock it out.
Maybe
But
he
what we
just-
see there is we see the grassy terrain working against Random Wizard's Toxic. Healing up the Superior, buying it an extra turn with its leftovers as well. Hirudegarn can come in here and threaten it out. But this Superior is definitely a breath of life. The Grassy Surge resetting the terrain.
Made in the HP ice. Yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, and
takes it
goes
like a
straight for
champ.
the HPI. So we see the Mega Horn miss there. He could have gotten another boost before
Wow.
going for the hidden powers.
That was an unlucky miss.
And Random Wizard's just in his head, knowing the switches are coming and pivoting himself, even if the pivot's not what you want against a Zapdos. We see the Thunderbolt threatening out there. Good scout with the Baneful Bunker before swapping back out. If he even does. He has the ability to just try and push a little bit more here.
Gets the
But I'm
immunity
just going to
swap.
bring in the immunity, get the poison heal. Both of these Mon ungrounded, so no grassy terrain healing. And this is where that superior low health really hurts, because that's the Mon I would want to bring into this. Given Zapdos is immune from the Earthquake, it really needs that HPI stab coverage there, and we see the knockoff coming out. Just willing to go for some breakdown. Charizard with the Mega Stone. Not too worried about that. See the Dragon Dance go off. Toxapex ready to haze. Does he go straight for the haze? No, he's pushing for the damage here. I like that.
Gets a
And we see a
burn.
burn proc on the Zapdos. Everything's getting statused up in here. Ginyu reveling in the status. I like to see him just pushing the damage here.
I think
It
he's found a route.
Yeah, it does lend to the thought that the Glissaur is a sweeper Glissaur, not a stall Glissaur. Because with all this statuses, that's the time where you just go ahead and just mash substitute.
Oh, I would have liked to see him just press Scald there, knowing he was gonna either heal. Just press damage.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that one. But there we see the Scald now. The crit superior in that very respect. Painful Bunker is going to buy the time that it needs, that the Toxapex needs to be able to just poison it out.
I think you really need to not go to that
pivoting
guy. You're
straight.
giving him more healing.
Well, the Toxic, yeah, it should
Oh, no,
live
never mind.
because, no, it's
Anyway,
strong enough there.
GG. Pack it in.
Oh, we've seen bigger comebacks before.
I don't know about that. Knockoff just removing Zapdos' leftovers. I'm unsure if a Random Wizard just doesn't have something to threaten the Zapdos with otherwise. Or if he's just trying to not reveal more of his move pool. There's the Z
Here
move,
we
just
go.
gonna push the damage through, just get the Zapdos out, bring out the Charizard and get it done. Taking the terrain for the Psychic terrain. Dragon Claw slaying the Mew.
Breako Meteor or Dragon Pulse
there
for
we
the
go.
safety.
That's game.
GG.
Good games.
GG.
Random Wizard moves on.